My matchup that matters here, again, I was able to find sort of a hipster stat here because I was very curious about this and I stumbled upon something that I thought was very interesting.
Okay.
It's the Panthers pass rush versus Kirk Cousins specifically. And there's some factors at play here. One, the Panthers pass rush is not great. It's just not. It is not a fear defensive line. They're not getting after the quarterback. They're not getting sacks. They've got a low pass rush win percentage as a team. They're not getting pressures. It's just not one that's really going to. I mean, we saw it against Chicago. I mean, Chicago. Caleb Williams had a time to throw above 3 seconds for the first time in his NFL career. It was below 3 seconds for the 4 previous games, and against the Panthers. I'm not gonna lie. He probably just thought, I don't need to move anywhere. I can hold on to the ball a little bit longer.
Yep.
And he absolutely shredded him for it. So one would think that the Panthers pass rush is not going to be good in this game. But Carmen, if they are, this specifically is a very interesting matchup against Kirk Cousins because I think a lot of people think about Kirk as, okay, pretty high floor when it comes to how he plays versus pressure. Not an escape artist, not somebody who's going to run to the sideline like a Josh Allen or a Jaden Daniels or something like that. But he navigates pressure pretty well. And specifically, if you get pressure on him, he knows where the ball needs to go very quickly to get it out of his hands. So you're not getting a sack, you're not getting a pass breakup, you're not really affecting the throw. But when it comes to when he is pressured and when he is not, if there's no pressure on the play, Kirk Cousins has an 81.2 passing grade and only 1 turnover-worthy play. That is the best mark or least amount of turnover-worthy plays of any of the full-time starting quarterbacks in the NFL this season when he is kept clean. When he is pressured, and again, we think about Cousins as somebody who knows what to do under pressure, doesn't panic under pressure, doesn't put the ball his arms way under pressure. 7 turnover-worthy plays already. We're 5 games into the season. He's got 7 turnover-worthy plays when he is pressured. That is second most in the NFL. So the floor of what Kirk Cousins presents to you when you are pressured is way lower than what it normally has been throughout his career. So if there is a world where the Panthers pass rush can actually really affect and get pressure on Kirk Cousins, he has been giving the ball away. And in a matchup where you think, okay, coming off of that win against the Buccaneers on Thursday Night Football, Falcons should win this football game. You get 1 or 2 extra turnovers here because of pressure, all bets are off.
Yep.
So to me, that's how the Panthers really change the script in this game. Can they somehow get after Kirk Cousins because he has been known to give the ball away so far this season?
And that has to deal with his injury as well. Like you see that he's kind of avoiding planting on the foot with the injured Achilles, and you just have to think that that's a really hard injury to come back from. And granted, he's bounced back a lot better than some other guys that had an Achilles injury last year. But I really do think that that kind of enters into why this year he's just a little bit more skittish when it comes to getting hit. Whereas he really wasn't when he was with the Vikings in particular, because in the early goings of that, he was getting hit a lot and still delivering the ball, stepping up, doing all that stuff in the pocket that made him so good against pressure. So I think it's a really good call out by you. And then I'm going to give you kind of an opportunity that Andy Dalton has on the other side of all of this. And that's Andy Dalton against Atlanta's third down defense in particular, because Atlanta ranks dead last, allowing teams to convert on 48.53% of third downs. So now you have the opportunity to convert and stay on the field and extend drives. The average time of possession for the Atlanta Falcons is just 26 minutes and 14 seconds, which is the second worst because their defense cannot get off the field. And in that case, then Andy Dalton is going to have opportunities to sustain drives, to score points. And it's against also an Atlanta defense that isn't getting the sacks. They're not getting pressure. They have 5 sacks so far this season, which is dead last, tied with the Bengals of all teams. And they have the third fewest pressures this season at 54. Their leaders, Grady Jarrett, 10 pressures, Matthew Judon, 9 pressures. But it's just not a unit that you really have to worry about when it comes to, all right, can I hold the ball? Can I let these longer routes develop? Can I stay on the field? Can I sustain drives? Can I score points? Andy Dalton is going to have the opportunity to do just that because of the different phases of this Atlanta defense that are just deficient right now.
Yeah, no, I think those are all good call outs. I think that on the Panthers side of things, my big plus factor for how they're going to play on offense, you talked about Andy Dalton. I'm going to talk about Chuba Hubbard, who
Yeah.
I think deserves some recognition here. The only player with more rushing yards than Hubbard over the last 3 weeks is Derrick Henry. And if he got through, if Hubbard got three more rushing yards last week, it would have been three straight 100-yard games. So amidst the offensive struggles and the offensive roller coaster that it has been in Carolina this season with the changing quarterbacks and then Dalton coming out hot and then it's slowing down a little bit, Chuba Hubbard over the last 3 weeks has been someone that they have been able to rely upon heavily. We've seen them rely upon him in the passing game as well as a receiver. And so to me, he's a big time plus factor in this game because if you can run the ball the way that you want to, and we've seen that this Carolina offensive line has given them the ability to do that, you can control the clock a little bit. You can keep this game close. And again, at that point, if you're keeping the game close, getting into the second half, the third quarter, the fourth quarter, sometimes it is just that extra possession, maybe an extra turnover. Does the ball bounce your way here and there? And you can come up with an upset at home against that divisional opponent. So as long as Hubbard is rushing the ball well, I've got faith that Carolina can at least hang in this thing and give them a chance before the clock strikes zero. So who's your plus factor in this one?
Yeah, it was Chuba Hubbard because I do
Okay,
think
there we
that
go.
adds
There we
another
go.
dynamic, it just adds another level to this Panthers offense. And honestly, this offensive line, I think, deserves a lot more credit than we're giving it because they were one of the worst units in the league last year. They did not
Yep.
do Bryce Young any favors. And this year they came out and they have been a lot better. I mean, are they the best offensive line in the league? No, but they are sixth in pass blocking grade. They rank 13th in overall offensive line grade, 70.7 PFF grade ahead of week 6. So this is a vastly improved unit that is allowing the team to run the ball. And when you factor in the fact that Chuba Hubbard can also get yards after contact, he's actually got 63 rushing yards after contact, which ranks 7th in the league.
Yep.
So it's one of those things where yes, the offensive line is better in opening up things for Chuba Hubbard, but he is also doing his part when it comes to getting those hard-fought yards and getting yards after contact, which makes a huge difference for this Carolina offense if they can remain, have dimensions to this offense, not only have Andy Dalton there, but really get something going on the ground. And I think that they have an opportunity to do that. This is going to be, and plus it's a division matchup. So,
Yep.
and those are always weird.